What's going on, guys? It's Narco or Steven here with you today. What I'm going to be bringing you guys today is a standoff capture the flag league play game that my friend Fapkin and I played against just a random team in Masters Division. And what we're going to be talking about today is more like a complete noob's guide to people that are wanting to get into competitive, like a complete noob's guide to competitive Call of Duty. And this is gonna more than likely be a two-part video, maybe a three-part video if I find that I need to put some more information in there. Uh, the first part is gonna be the basics. Basically, it's gonna be equipment and just little small things that I can tell you to kind of put you in the right direction in competitive Call of Duty and make you avoid some of the mistakes that I and other people have made when we started, when we didn't have somebody who made these tutorials for people to, avoid these mistakes. So we're going to get right into the equipment. One of the things that you're going to need very first off is, of course, your console and your game of choice. At this day and age, the Xbox One has already come out and the PS4 has come out. I'm going to make these tutorials based on Xbox because that's where, sorry PS4 guys, but that's where most of the competition is. I know it's a little bit unfair, but that's just how it is. I got absolutely destroyed right there. Holy balls. But you're going to want like an Xbox One. Advanced Warfare is coming out. It hasn't come out at the time of this video. This video is being made 15 days before the launch date. But Advanced Warfare, from what I hear, from rumors, it's going to be one of the best Call of Duties that was made. I'm not sure if it will surpass Black Ops 2. That's pretty hard to do. Black Ops 2 is really good for competitive. People see it as like the holy grail of all Call of Duties. But Advanced Warfare is more than likely going to be one of those games that you just have to grind out, and it more than likely won't be a letdown. I don't think it will be, but you might be watching this video and everybody might know that it's complete shit. I don't know. Same thing happened for Ghosts. But you're going to want your console. You're going to want your game. Make sure you keep your console up to date. You're going to want a SCUF controller if you don't play Claw. If you play Claw, you don't necessarily need a SCUF controller unless you want things like grip or trigger stops or just a certain design on your controller or something like that. Like Scump, he can use a standard controller just fine, but time to time you'll see him using a SCUF because of the trigger stops or little things that might help him out. But for the most part, if you play Claw, you can actually save yourself a good bit of money. Now, when it comes to like the health concerns for Claw, I wouldn't say that there's too many of those. I mean, in the long term, it might have an effect, but so far, nobody's had any real effect. There's been short-term effects where people had to stop playing for a while because their hands started hurting, and I thought that guy was in the corner. I didn't know where he was. I don't know what I was thinking right there. But, yeah, getting a SCUF is a good idea. It's one of the best things that you can have other than a headset and, say, a monitor, which we're going to get into here in just a second. I do not have a SCUF, actually. I plan on getting one. I have had one before. I had a Phase Red competitive SCUF with SCUF grip, 2 paddles with the normal configuration, trigger stops. I had the full design package, white LEDs and whatnot. It was a really nice SCUF. It was wired. It did me really well for a while. But what you guys need to understand is that with getting these things, like a headset or a SCUF or any of these expensive things, that might cost money, things that you're going to really have to see as more of an investment in order to justify getting them, you guys need to understand that you need to have a basic understanding of Call of Duty and how it works competitively. You're not just going to get these things and then automatically become just Jesus or Scumpy, yes, because those are synonyms, at Call of Duty. You are going to need to have like a basic understanding. You're going to need to be able to, I mean, I'm not the best player in the world, but I mean, if you're watching this gameplay was achieved with a Turtle Beach PX22 headset, a 5 millisecond Asus response time monitor, and no SCUF controller. Actually, a very, very old wireless controller is what I used to get this. So if you cannot get a gameplay like this while using those things, I would really not recommend that you buy these things yet. I would recommend that you focus on your skill itself, and then once you start winning matches like league play, if you find that you're consistently getting into Masters Division, that's the point where you want to start buying stuff like Astros or a SCUF or like a 1 or 2 millisecond response time monitor, because those things will actually help you. You will actually see the difference that they make. the way that I tested to see if what I was doing was what I was buying was really helping is I played a bunch of clan versus clan games back at the beginning of Call of Duty Ghosts, and I sucked because I did not have a monitor. I had a big boxy television. It wasn't even HD. It was more like barely 240p. I have no idea, 480, something like that. It was not HD. Response time was low on it, but it was so hard to see people. Like back then, the MTAR was the gun to use. So not only that, but like the MTAR was just crazy with like its sights anyway, the iron sights. So it was really hard to play competitively, especially with an SMG. I normally had to be the person to run the red dot Remington, but when I switched from that to a 5 millisecond response time monitor, which, by the way, if you're getting a monitor, don't make my mistake. Don't go 5 milliseconds because that's not designed for gaming. That's not something that you want to get. Uh, Go with 1 or 2 milliseconds. But when I switched from that to a 5 millisecond response time monitor, there was a huge difference in my gameplay. Now, for most people, you're probably playing on like HD televisions and things like that. You're not going to notice the same thing that I noticed. What I noticed was that I was able to aim down my iron sights better and hit more precise shots with like the MTAR, the Vector, or just any gun with like iron sights, you know, where colors can like overlap each other and get mushed together and things like that when you're not in HD. What you guys might notice more, and I know that I have noticed more because I actually have an HD television now and a monitor, so I can just test the difference between the two. There's a huge difference in response time. Even when you're not using a wired SCUF controller, if you're using a wireless controller, just normal standard Xbox controller, on a HD television as compared to a monitor, if you go back and forth between the two, you will notice that you can move, like, say that if I sat still and moved my stick to the right. Let's say that I moved about 90 degrees to the right, just completely from forward to the right. Big three-piece by Perk Scuff right there, but let's say that I did that. You're going to notice that there's almost, on my HD television at least, there's almost like a full second of delay in like the time that I move my stick to the time that I see my character move on the screen. And I never noticed that. I was a big gamer. I was never a really big competitive gamer until the start of Ghosts. And I never really knew that delays like that existed, and I never knew how they would affect my game until I started to actually change those things up. And now that I'm on a monitor, and now that I have switched that up, I would never go back. Like, even for casual gaming, I just wouldn't go back just because it's so annoying to go back and play on that now, even though it's an HD television. It's just don't do it. I mean, if you have the chance to go to a monitor, please go to a monitor. You're not going to regret it. Other than that, as far as headsets go, you're going to want to get at least there's headsets out there that'll do the job for $50 to $60. I would say that if you're gaming competitively but you still don't have all that money to blow, get a headset anywhere from the $100 to $150 range. If you do have money to blow, however, if you have, I don't know, a really good job or just a really good source of income and you're wanting to spend $200 to $300 on a headset, Astro A40s are definitely the way to go. Now, I'm a very not known gamer. This is one of my very first YouTube videos, so no, I'm not getting paid by anybody to say that, of course, and I'm not saying it because I'm a fanboy. I'm actually using Turtle Beaches to record this gameplay right now. I know the difference between the two, and I know that when it comes to sound quality on the Astros are superior. When it comes to the mic quality on the Turtle Beaches are superior. So for gaming competitively, you're going to want to have Astros, definitely. And the way that you have to justify that purchase, especially if you don't have very much money, is you have to view it as an investment. You have to say to yourself, yes, I'm going to be paying this money right now, but what I'm going to be doing later is winning these tournaments to earn this money back. Now, there are some players out there right now that are actually, they might not be as known as players like Nadeshot or Scumpy, players that like everybody knows. Now, when I say certain names like Felony or Rizma, you guys probably won't know who I'm talking about. But I'm talking about players that are actually very successful in the Call of Duty scene, that actually aren't very known, that actually do make a good bit of money from this. And I believe that they actually just recently won a $2,000 S&D tournament. I believe Fizzerp and Saints and Felony were on a team. I don't know who their fourth was. I don't know if it was Rizma or not, but they did win $2,000, which is more than enough to justify the purchases of just a monitor, a scuff, Astros, things like that, if you actually got to that point where you could win a tournament like that. Now, you don't have to win tournaments that are like that either. You can enter any tournament that has prize money with your team, and if you guys can win that tournament, boom, automatic costs justified right there. That's your reward in the long run, is winning tournaments, getting that money back. That's your first reward, is earning that money back. If you make it to the point where, say, Nadeshot, where Scumpy is, and you start to have the sponsors rolling in, that's where you really, really start to get a reward for all your hard work, because not only are you doing what you want to do every day, that starts to become less and less of just your hobby, but more and more of your job. And I'm not sure if you would even call it a job, because most people consider a job to be something that you do that you don't like, something that you have to do for money. Whereas it's honestly more specifically described as just something that you're doing, just your hobby, which you earn money from. Uh, I don't know what that's like. I don't know if I'll ever know what that's like. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to just, I do know a little bit about these things, and what I'm just doing in this video is giving you guys a few tips from me that I already can give you guys. And gosh, there was 4 down right there. But other than that, little things that you can change in game. Most people think that a 10 sensitivity is what you should play on. Those people are wrong. Even in public matches, those people are wrong. You know, to each their own, do whatever you want to do. But for most people, for most humans that are not aimbots, running on Black Ops 2, you want to run like anywhere from a 3 to a 6 at the very highest. You don't want to run anything less than that. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to run more than that. Especially you people with control freaks, I do not understand why you guys constantly tell people to turn up their sensitivity. You guys act like switching your sensitivity from like 9 to 10 is an accomplishment. Like, you guys act like it's going up 200 pounds on bench press, when in reality it's just screwing you more out of gunfights. And when it comes to competitive, when you're facing these people that are using the sensitivity that I'm recommending, 4 and 5 sensitivity, they barely have to move their sticks to kill you, because they can hip fire better than you can. If you cannot hip fire better than they can, then you're screwed. I mean, that's just how that is. They can easily just move their screen onto you very fast. Like, see that gunfight right there that I just won right there? Imagine if that guy had like a 10 sensitivity, or imagine that I had a 10 sensitivity. Do you think that I would have won that gunfight with an MSMC? Hell no, dude. I'd be spraying everywhere. So when it comes to competitive matches where kills really do mean a lot more than they do in the public matches, you really want to try to have a lower sensitivity. Please, please, please heed that advice. That's one of the best things that you can do that costs you nothing at all, costs $0. That's one of the biggest changes that I made that really helped me out. I never played on a sensitivity like a 10 or anything like that. I played on a 6 in Black Ops 2, and I moved it down to 5, and then I moved it down to 4, and I found that that's my sweet spot for ARs, and then for submachine guns I use a 5. I believe in this gameplay, though, I still used a 4 for my submachine gun. But that's, as far as, like, things that you can change right now, and things that are just really basic, that's pretty much the bottom line. In the next video, I do plan on going more in-depth about things like teammates, and how to choose your teammates, and how to deal with your teammates, and, what to do in like certain tournaments online and things like that. Even though I don't have very, very, very extensive experience in like high profile tournaments, I feel like I can still give you guys advice if you'd want. If there's anybody out there watching this video, like a professional player or a top amateur player that sees this video and notices that I said anything wrong, or there's anything that they think that I should change about the video, just let me know in the comments below, because I don't want to give anybody any false information. Jesus Christ, that kid got absolutely duped on with a world star. As you can see, we're in overtime right now in this gameplay. It is a Masters Division League play, and I'm kind of a league play nerd. That's kind of what I do day in and day out, is league play right now. I'm not quite at the point where I just feel like playing GBs all day, especially when it comes to Call of Duty Ghosts, because so many people pay to have their internet upgraded. It's just crazy. But one more thing that I wanted to talk about that could be a necessity for you guys if you really wanted to start taking it seriously, and you already did some of the things and got some of the equipment that I suggested in the earlier parts of the video, is you guys definitely want to have a Game Battles account, a UMG account, maybe even a Gfinity account. It depends on what kind of tournaments you want to compete in, but most definitely a Game Battles account, because that's where everything's kind of centered around. And once you're confident enough with your team, you guys can get into like 4v4 or even 3v3 ladders and start competing. And what you guys really need to keep in mind is that even though those matches do count towards your record, don't think about records as something that's gonna really say how good or bad a player is. Your record doesn't really say how good or bad of a player you are, even in 1v1 games, because there's so much chance involved in 1v1s. It just, records more or less prove how your team works together. I mean, unless you see somebody play and you can spot their mistakes, oh my goodness. That was a world star, but unless you can actually see them play and spot their mistakes, you're not going to be able to judge how good a player is. Like, with you watching my video now, like, I can already tell that I'm not the best player just by looking at it while I'm speaking right now. And I know that. That's a good thing. If you can recognize your mistakes, and, like, if you're lucky like me and have an Elgato, you can go back and fix those mistakes. When it comes to more material things, the only thing that you guys could get in the future if you wanted would be like a streaming computer or something like that. That's not something imperative for Call of Duty. And you could get an Elgato to record your videos and upload them on YouTube. But anyways, this gameplay is coming up into a wrap. If there's anything else you guys want me to add down or add into the next video, just let me know. That's about it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.